Good morning readers. I, Harish Budhu, warmly welcome you to my channel. Learn as much as possible from my handwritten articles.
This the 23rd of September, 2020. Both Weekened and L'Express gave a morality certificate to the author of the derogatory racial attacks against Hindus and India. To prove their Mauritianism faith, Weekened of Josie Lebrasse should public all the names of their staff. Hindus almost no existent there. Weekened treated Indians as Indian goats. Josie Lebrasse, the ruler of Weekened, has destroyed both Berenger and the movement militant Mauritian. As long as she rules, Berenger will never succeed. A very warm welcome to the second part of the series on the rapidly changing tense situation, which we mentioned in the opinion paper of yesterday. We need not repeat the reasons behind and the cautionary note. Suffice it to say that our aim is to take the heat or sting out and diffuse the volatile situation, and ease the racial tension. But also to disarm and disable the mafia which is trying to exploit the situation. All told, we are better placed to do it. Aren't we? Anyway, now read with an open and analytical mind. And a big thank you to all our Facebook and YouTube friends who will share the paper with their close ones. See, now, a few words to our student friends. We are sorry. We have not been able to look after you, as we were doing in the past, with a special column. However, we are regularly highlighting some English expressions for you. There were 35 on the 21st of September and 37 yesterday. Try my tried and tested method, write them down in your diaries. History tells us that each and every time there is a problem in the country, the same 1960s wind of the past blows through the country. Hindus are accused of all the wrongs, sins and crimes of the world. The derogatory racial remarks, mentioned yesterday, should be placed and seen in that pre-independence context, when everything, closely resembling Hindus, Hinduism, India, Indian languages, Hindu traditions, etc., was considered and seen as prehistoric, as barbaric, as savage, as uncivilized and as anti-Mauritian. That mentality of looking down on Hindus will not die so soon. The highly disparaging, defamatory and offensive comments are proof positive. You may remember that we appealed yesterday to Hindus to be as magnanimous, as generous, as big-hearted, as high-minded and as open-handed, as they were after the 12th March 1968 independence elections. Some of my friends told me that the recent attacks were not pardonable, they were so vicious, venomous, monstrous, ferocious and dangerous, that they should not be forgotten, or forgiven. And they pointed out to the author's group of friends, who approved all the malicious, atrocious and heinous verbal attacks on Hindu and India, that by round after round of loud, enthusiastic and thunderous applause and gales of non-stop laughter, they should be identified. They, too, should come forward to apologize unreservedly. They were not innocent. They are party to the crime. The stand of the Le Mauritian, Weekened group and L'Express came as no surprise. Overall, they gave a morality certificate to the author of the derogatory racial attack on Hindus and India. And that, even when the author himself realized the gravity of the situation and quickly offered his sincere apologies. Guess why L'Express of Nad Sivaramen has now joined the bandwagon of the Le Mauritian, Weekened group, which had fought against the independence of the country in the 1960s, and against the Hindus, India and everything resembling or smelling them. Notwithstanding, L'Express of Dr. Philippe Forget had contributed significantly in the 1960s liberation movement. We owe them a lot. Has the Le Mauritian, Weekened group changed course for the better since the 1960s? The answer is a big no, with capital letters. I do not know a single Hindu journalist working there. Even if I am mistaken, there could be hardly 1 or 2%. It is even worse in the administration. Tell them to prove me wrong. That by making public all the names of their staff. And the irony is that they pretend to be more Mauritianism than anybody else. Real racists in reality. The other day, one notorious journalist of Weekened treated Indians as Indian goats, a translation from the derogatory term Kabri Lindi. In the past, he had attacked Shivratri pilgrims. But the worst is the Mauritianism of Josie Lebrasse. I have followed her pen since 1977. She is the eyes, ears, brain and heart of Paul Berenger. Dancing to his tune. She was also very close to Vishnu Lakshminaraidu. Journalists of the group can tell you who she really is and was. The 1968 psyche and mentality will never change. When will she be appointed as the editor-in-chief? After all, Weekened is hers. Guess why? Come June 1982, I was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Information. Cabinet decided to remove the head of the Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation Television, Roland Dilliter. It is the Prime Minister who hired and fired. The latter unleashed a terrible hate campaign against me. He held 2 public meetings on the eve of the 1983 general election. I was accused of all the sins. Nevertheless, I was elected. I never harmed Roland Dilliter or his children. But they have continued to treat me as Malabar Sauvage. When Sir Victor Glover died, Weekened wrote some derogatory remarks on me. The racists forgot that both Le Mauritian and Weekened had helped me to denounce the rotten Augean stables of Victor Glover. But for Josie Lebrasse and Bernard Dilliter, I am and I will be one and the same Malabar Sauvage. Be that as it may, one thing is 100% certain. It is Josie Lebrasse, the friend of Paul Berenger, who has destroyed the latter and the movement militant Mauritian. Ask all those who have left the movement militant Mauritian. They know lots of closely guarded dark secrets. She has been the best agent of all the political opponents and enemies of the movement militant Mauritian leader. Her past is not to be trusted. But she rules there. And Berenger will never succeed as long as Josie rules. To be continued.
Keep reading, keep learning. Like and subscribe for more thrilling articles. Thank you for watching.